Alright, so in this video, I'm going to solve the equation 4 to the power of x squared over 2 to the power of x is equal to 8. So, the only variable I'm solving for, and the only variable that's in this equation is x. Now for my solution, I'll first start by writing my equation down here. So I have 4 to the power of x squared over 2 to the power of x is equal to 8. And what I'm first going to do is start by rewriting 4 here as 2 squared. So I have 2 squared to the power of x squared over 2 to the power of x is equal to 8. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So 2 to the power of 2 to the power of x squared is going to equal 2 to the power of 2 times x squared. Now I have this over 2 to the power of x is equal to 8. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m over a to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m minus n. So 2 to the power of 2x squared over 2 to the power of x, that's going to equal 2 to the power of 2x squared minus x, and this is equal to 8. Now 8, I'm going to rewrite this as 2 to the power of 3. So now another property of exponents is that if I have something in form a to the power of m is equal to a to the power of n, this means that m is equal to n. In other words, if the bases of two expressions are the same, that means the exponents are equal to each other as well. So now I have 2 to the power of x squared minus x is equal to 3. And if I subtract 3 on both sides, I get 2x squared minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. So now to solve this, I'm going to use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in this case, a is 2, b is negative 1, and c is negative 3. So I get x is equal to negative of negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 3. And I have this all over 2a, so 2 times 2. So now this is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 24 over 4, which is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 25 over 4, which is equal to 1 plus or minus 5 over 4. So now this gives me two solutions. I get x equals 1 plus 5 over 4, and x equals 1 minus 5 over 4. So for x equals 1 plus 5 over 4, I get x equals 3 over 2. And for x equals 1 minus 5 over 4, I get x equals negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. So now, going back here, I have 4 to the power of x squared over 2 to the power of x equals 8. So I'm going to check these two solutions. So I'm going to first start with negative 1. So if I plug in x for negative 1, I get 4 to the power of negative 1 squared over 2 to the power of negative 1 is equal to 8. So 4 to the power of negative 1 squared is the same thing as 4 to the power of 1 because negative 1 squared is just positive 1. And 2 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over 2. So this turns into 4 times 2 is equal to 8, and 8 is equal to 8. Now I'm going to check x equals 3 over 2. So I have 4 to the power of 3 over 2 squared over 2 to the power of 3 over 2 is equal to 8. So 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4, so I have 4 to the power of 9 over 4 over 2 to the power of 3 over 2 is equal to 8. So now to solve this, 4 to the power of 9 over 4 is the same thing as 4 to the power of 9 to the 4th root. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as 2 squared to the power of 9 over 4 over 2 to the power of 3 over 2. So now, let me rewrite this over here. Two times 9 over 4 is 18 over 4, so I get 2 to the power of 18 over 4 over 2 to the power of 3 over 2 is equal to 8. So now I get 2 to the power of 18 over 4 minus 3 over 2 is equal to 8. 18 over 4 minus 3 over 2 is equal to 3. So I get 2 to the power of 3 is equal to 8, and 8 is equal to 8. So this is right. Alright, so in this problem, I have 5 to the power of x plus 5 to the power of x plus 5 to the power of x plus 5 to the power of x is equal to 1,000. So for my solution, I'm going to first start by factoring out 5 to the power of x from my left-hand side. Because as you can see, we have 4 of the same terms on my left-hand side, and the easiest way to go about solving this equation is to factor them out. So I get 5 to the power of x times, well, 5 to the power of x divided by 5 to the power of x is simply 1, so I get 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 1,000. And now 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4, so I get 5 to the power of x times 4 is equal to 1,000. Now, we want to isolate x, so I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So then these two cancel out, and I get 5 to the power of x is equal to 1,000 divided by 4, which is 250. So, from this large equation here, we got up to an equation that is significantly smaller. So we have 5 to the power of x equals 250, and just at first glance of this equation, we can tell that x is not going to be a whole number because we have 5 squared is 25, 5 to the power of 3 is 125, and 5 to the power of 4, this is going to be 125 times 5, which is 625. So the value of x is somewhere in between 3 and 4. Now to actually find the exact value of x, not just an estimate, what we're going to do is rewrite 250 as 25 times 10. And the reason I did this is because 25 is the same thing as 5 squared. So I get 5 squared times 10. And now I'm going to take the log on both sides. So I get log of 5 to the power of x is equal to log of 5 squared times 10. And this is the same thing as, well, log a times b is equal to log of a plus log b. So log 5 squared times 10 is going to equal log of 5 squared plus log of 10. Now, if I have something in the form log a to the power of b, I can move this exponent b to the front. So it's going to equal b times log a. So in this case, I have log 5 to the power of x. I can move x to the front, and I have log 5 to the power of 2, so I can move 2 to the front. And I get x times log of 5 is equal to 2 times log of 5 plus log 10. Now I'm going to divide both sides by log 5. So then these two cancel out, and I get x is equal to 2 times log 5 plus log 10 over log 5. Now, if you guys already know, log 10 is equal to 1. So now I get x is equal to 2 times log 5 plus 1 over log 5. And this is the same thing as 2 times log 5 over log 5 plus 1 over log 5. Now these two log 5s cancel out, so I get x is equal to 2 plus 1 over log 5. And although this is an exceptional answer, I want the exact answer, so I'm going to find the value of log 5. And log 5 is equal to 0.699, meaning 1 divided by log of 5 is going to equal 1.43. So 2 plus 1.43 is 3.143. So I get x is equal to 3.143. And this is my answer to this problem. And remember how we already said that x was going to be somewhere in between 3 and 4. So this proves us right.